Listen, it's finally flying. As you are all aware, I have been among the most skeptical about Al Shore, and it was providing you. However, Ali Shore stated on Fox 5 New York that the federal jury genuinely wants to sell your memoir. I apologize that federal prosecutors have subpoenaed him to testify in the Diddy trial, which means they will bring up Kymort. In the court documents, they discussed one of the individuals whom Diddy mistreated, and they never filed charges against him. But it also demonstrates how they stated that the person was deceased. Now let's get into this. What if this is actually Kim Porter and they subpoenaed Al Shore? Probably not, because I want to find out if he was actually subpoenaed, because they stated that Al Shore is the last man alive who knows the truth about Diddy and has no problem using his last oxygen to take him down. The R&B singer appeared on Fox 5 New York earlier today to promote his forthcoming memoir, where he raised questions about his late ex, Kim Porter's, passing. Now Al claims Kim used to warn him to watch his back around Diddy and disputed the coroner's ruling that a healthy 47-year-old woman could suddenly pass away from pneumonia. I agree, that always seemed really weird, and the fact that everybody just accepted that, I was like, they're either covering up and it was something else, or did he really do something to her? Okay, now because people are saying she was writing a memoir. Diddy and his kids came out and said that's a lie. She never had a memoir. But then they literally tried to get a court order to say they were exclusive owners of information that wasn't a memoir or a manuscript, but it was something that Kim was putting together to accumulate what Diddy had done. And I was like, wait, you all said it didn't exist, but now you're all out here saying that you own it. He also disclosed that Diddy's prosecutors have summoned him to testify in the federal sex trafficking trial, and he and his lawyer are prepared to accept the request. Now, because you guys know me, I don't want this to turn into me dragging Al. I said, but what about what Al's other kids have to say about his fathering skills? Everyone claims that Al was a deadbeat father to Quincy because he was afraid for Diddy. Because you can't blame Diddy for that, you know? And even the fact that Kim was actually one of the reasons Diddy was able to do that is through financial abuse, because Al, when they were younger, was not actually taking care of Kim or Quincy. And that made Kim more likely to seek a man that could help provide anyway, right? He goes on to claim that Diddy placed a bounty on his head and orchestrated a massive PR campaign to make him look bad, which led to his 2022 health scare. Now here's the thing, judging by what we know from Diddy, I think maybe Al might be telling the truth about always was mad at Al Shore. I'm sorry, not Al. Diddy was always mad at Al Shore, was always jealous in between telling Quincy that he was effing beautiful. He was always jealous of Al Shore. Again, Quincy and the twins. And Christian have come out and said that Al's all cap, and he was never really close to the mom, and he's not a spokesperson, and he don't speak for them. So, but that said, the kids are under Diddy's control. So it literally is like, who do you choose to believe? Okay, do I believe that he orchestrated a massive PR campaign to have him look bad? Most likely. And I would say it worked, because I don't have a good opinion of Al Shore. And do I think that he might have placed a bounty on his head? Why not? He was out there slipping aside and dipping and diving and saying a lot of crazy things to a lot of people. So I don't doubt that he looked at Al Shore and said, yeah, I had enough of you too. They claim that Al had a successful transplant after going into a coma due to liver failure. He told the news station for the first time that he was convinced Diddy was responsible for his failing organs. I'd like to know why, but I suppose we'll have to read the memoir. They said that Al's moment of reckoning came when he said, I'm the only one alive suggesting everyone who ever spoke up against Diddy got whacked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 victims are still alive, according to the 7 women testifying in the SHOCKS trafficking case. But Quincy Brown claims that not everyone shares those Diddy worries. It's important to note that Al's biological son, whom he shared with Porter, is bravely standing with Diddy, also known as his dad, till the very end. In September, Kim's children stated that although it has been extremely difficult to come to terms with the possibility that she was taken from us too soon, the cause of her death has long been known, and there was no foul play. Grief is a lifelong process, and we ask that everyone respect our request for peace as we continue to deal with her loss on a daily basis. Prosecutors also revealed in court this week that there won't be much about Kim or Al during the Diddy criminal trial. They reached out to Diddy's camp so far, no word. First of all, I'm actually curious to know how he is blaming Diddy for his liver failure now. A lot of people said that Al was on that Colombian dancing desk and that he has liver failure. I don't think that's true because I do know that when you look for liver transplants, if you have any history of abuse, drinking, or narcotics, they won't put you on the liver transplant list. The fact that he was on the liver transplant list and he actually received a liver shows that whatever his reason for liver failure was, it had to be natural, so I don't think currently he's on anything. I don't know what he did in his past, but I'm very interested to know how this all came about. And listen, let me actually just be clear, right? Is Al actually testifying? No, he says he is. Prosecutors have not confirmed, and there is a witness list. If you received a subpoena, unless you're Gina, Han, that you're hiding from them, or, I'm sorry, going missing and not returning any calls, and your lawyer's not returning any calls unless you're Han Gina. How can you refuse a prosecutor's invite to? How can you refuse the prosecutor's invite? You're willing to accept, did you get subpoenaed? Are you on the witness list? And if you are, I want to hear, I will take back everything except for the deadbeat dad stuff. Everything I've said about you if you are on that witness list. But here's another thing. Didn't the judge do a gag order on all witnesses, their attorneys, and anybody else that the prosecution or the defense is calling? Isn't there an active gag order? So how is he speaking out about what happened if there's an active gag order? And if you're going to be one of the witnesses called again, I'll be sure is a conundrum wrapped up in a brittle, wrapped up in a big question mark with a why. I don't know what to think at this point. I do know that if he has any information that can lead to the justice for Kim Porter and all these women, I hope he actually does testify. But again, I thought there was a gag order. So how are you promoting the book and actually saying that you were called to testify? Is everyone, because every other witness is being completely quiet and they realize that there's a lot at stake. So if every other witness is being quiet and incognito, some of them have even gone missing, and the judge issued a gag order for everybody. How are you going on Fox 5 promoting your memoir? And now you're letting all this be known. I do want to also say this, right? For those of y'all being like, oh my God, you being too hard on them. When Albie Shore started posting those things after leaving the hospital, do you recall how everyone was asking, yo, did he do this? He hinted that he was subweeding Diddy, and he said, y'all read too much into this. This isn't about Diddy. This isn't about this. When I believe Claudia Jordan came out. All right, we thought you were trying to tell us something, we said, and now you're returning and claiming that, yes, you lied about lying back then, but now you're telling the truth again. Perhaps he is Diddy's victim. I really want to see the prosecution confirm that we'll see. I'm sure the prosecution, someone, or Diddy's team will hit back with what's going on. But most likely, Diddy and the kids will get involved this time because Quincy is constantly at odds with that man he calls his daddy. Anyway, please share your thoughts in the comments section. If Albie Shore is testifying, I'm going to need to see some receipts. That's all I'm saying. I'll need to see some receipts. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.